Now Nausicaa of the white arms had another thought. She folded the raiment and stored it in the goodly wain, and yoked the mules strong of hoof, and herself climbed into the car. Then she called on Odysseus, and spake and hailed him. Up now, stranger, and rouse thee to go to the city, that I may convey thee to the house of my wise father, where, I promise thee, thou shalt get knowledge of all the noblest of the Phaeacians. But do thou even as I tell thee, and thou seemest a discreet man enough. So long as we are passing along the fields and farms of men, do thou fare quickly with the maidens behind the mules and the chariot, and I will lead the way. But when we set foot within the city, whereby goes a high wall with its towers, and there is a fair haven on either side of the town, and narrow is the entrance, and curved ships are drawn up on either hand of the mole, for all the folk have stations for their vessels, each man one for himself. And there is a place of assembly about the goodly temple of Poseidon, furnished with heavy stones, deep bedded in the earth. There men look to the gear of the black ships, hawsers and sails, and there they find down the oars. For the Phaeacians care not for bow nor quiver, but for masts and oars of ships, and gallant barks, wherein rejoicing they cross the grey sea. Their ungracious speech it is that I would avoid, lest some man afterward rebuke me, and there are but too many insolent folk among the people, and some one of the baser sort might meet me and say, Who is this that goes with Nausicaa, this tall and goodly stranger? Where found she him? Her husband he will be, her very own. Either she has taken in some shipwrecked wanderer of strange men, for no men dwell near us, or some god has come to her in answer to her instant prayer. From heaven he has descended, and will have her to wife for evermore. Better so if herself has ranged abroad, and found a lord from a strange land, for verily she holds in no regard the Phaeacians here in this country, the many men and noble who are her wooers. You ever encounter someone who is really an expert at having imaginary conversations? I don't know if this is a performance for Odysseus, a way to kind of introduce the idea that she might be a marriage prospect for him by creating this scenario of all the reactions the Phaeacians will have of them as they parade through town. Like, is this when that last line there, which she's still, tomorrow, we have more of her monologue tomorrow, but when she's saying that the Phaeacians are going to go, oh, look at this one, she's too good for us. We here who are noble but not noble enough for this one, we who would marry her at an instant, oh no, we certainly can't, because some god has descended from the heavens to take her hand in marriage. Oh no, not that one. She's too good for us. What do we think her endgame is here? I guess, again, I have to shed my modern sensibilities, because I was assuming, and maybe it's still true, that the way this is set up of Nausicaa and Alcinous and just this world and land that they all inhabit is introduced to us, the readers, the audience, before Odysseus encounters them, that we are to take all of that for face value. All of that setup didn't seem, she seemed pretty pure and noble and naive to a degree. So is it just the way that I'm interpreting her here? Maybe it is a sort of naivety she's going through in expressing all of this stuff to him. There's a more purity to it of like, oh, you can't ride with me. If you did, what would people say? No. You have to ride in the back. And be very careful when we get to town, because people are going to talk and they're going to say the craziest things. We have to be above board on this one, Odysseus. Strange man from the sea. Yeah, maybe she is a bit more naive, and I'm giving her more Joan Collins than I need to. How do we think Odysseus is going to react to seeing the temple of Poseidon? How do we think Poseidon is going to react to seeing Odysseus near his temple? That was just kind of a tossed-off line by her here, but couldn't help but flag it. And you know what? I'm gonna do something a little fun here. I think as we close out this chapter in the next 2 episodes, I'm gonna do a little bit of research on temples of the gods. And we can talk about that as we do a little send-off to Book 6. So join me here tomorrow. I'll have a deep dive on the Temple of the Gods. Until then, okay, goodbye. Odyssey is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. The show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Odyssey, written by Homer. Theme song by Neuroflow. You can support this show and other shows like it by going to patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.